Okay, here we go. Last one of the season, baby. Let's do it. Howdy and welcome to Someone Should Know. I'm your host, Lydia Shock. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Someone Should Know. Come on in. Episode 12, you guys. This is the last episode of season 1, our season finale. Oh my gosh, you guys. I can't even believe that we've already done one full season. I cannot even believe this is marking the end of season 1. Wow. It went by so fast. 12 weeks. Wow. Season 1 to me has meant so much love. I can't even tell you the outpouring of love that I've received this season and the outpouring of love that I think Someone Should Know has given to the world. So to me, season 1 has just meant so much love. And for that, I am so grateful. It has also meant a lot of courage, which in turn has brought me a lot of pride. And it's also given me a lot of perspective and a lot of opportunity for growth for the coming seasons. And yes, I'm so grateful to every listener from season 1. Thank you for your time. Thank you for tuning in. I hope I was able to give back to you what you've been able to give to me. So thank you. And in our last episode, I'm reminded that I can do anything. I can do anything. And so can you. You can do anything. And that's, what's so fun about this podcast and about this journey that I've embarked on is, it's really just using my free will. And that's just been so fun. It's, just one day I was like, guess what I'm going to do? And I've done it. And that's been so fun. Just really utilizing my free will and that I can do anything and you can do anything. And it's really filled my cup to do this and to put this out into the world. And if you've been listening at all, you know that this is something that I sat on for many years, something that I wanted to do, but I didn't have the courage to do. So, season 1 has meant courage and love and pride and growth. And I'm so excited to see where this podcast takes us. So thank you to every single one of you who has tuned in so far. I love you. I appreciate you. And we are just getting started, baby. We're just getting started. So come back in 2026 where I'll be premiering season 2 of Someone Should Know. In the meantime, don't forget to follow the socials and stay connected. So I'm very excited about today's episode. And what I love about today's episode is, first of all, it is something that I have taught in the past in previous courses that I've taught. I've also just given it to friends and family who maybe needed to hear it. But what I love about this topic is it so naturally and so perfectly ties our season in a nice little bow. So today we're talking choose your hard. We're talking how life is hard. Life is tough. No matter who you are, no matter what background you came from, life is hard for us all. And life is filled with hard, character-defining choices that we have to make day in and day out. And there's no two ways about it. There's no sweet way to cut it. It is what it is. Life is fucking hard. It's hard for everybody. And nobody likes the perpetual victim, right? Nobody likes the person that's like, woe is me, my life is hard. Everybody's life is hard. Everybody's life is hard. Everybody's going through something. Everybody's going through something. And it's how you choose to show up in those moments that count. So today, someone should know life is hard. Choose your hard. Being fit is hard. Being fat is hard. Choose your hard. Being broke is hard. Being wealthy is hard. Choose your hard. Being married is hard. Getting a divorce is hard. Choose your hard. Finding long-term healing is hard. Being the perpetual victim is hard. Choose your hard. And I'm not saying this to indicate that one hard is harder or easier than the other. You're just going to have to choose which hard you're willing to live with. And this has really stuck with me over the years, this concept of choosing your hard, because it really allows you to take ownership of the choices and the impact that you have on your life. And in anything, taking ownership over it gives you power. There's a book that I want to recommend, and full transparency, I have not yet read the book, but it is on my TBR and it will get read. But in the meantime, I am going to post a link to a YouTube TED Talk of this author and this former Marine, Jocko Willink, and he wrote a book called Extreme Ownership, where he talks about taking this extreme ownership of your life and of your circumstances. And I think that is why the choose your hard mantra has stuck with me so hard, is because it is about that extreme ownership and about taking your life into your hands and making choices that ultimately you can live with and that make you proud when you go to bed every night. So throughout this season, it's funny, I didn't expect it, but throughout this season, I have had to choose my hard over and over and over again as it pertained to this podcast and this experience and this journey of putting this out here. So a few of the ways that I've felt challenged throughout these last 12 weeks is deadlines, first of all, and putting an episode out every Friday at 10 a.m. and having that set schedule. I want to be consistent for you guys. I want you guys to know when to expect the next episode. And sometimes I wish I would have had an extra 3-4 days to sit and tinker with an episode, but it's just me. I'm a one-woman show. And sometimes you just have to, put the bullet in the barrel and get it out there. I've also been battling imposter syndrome, which is something that I probably could have foresaw if you would have asked me in January when I finally decided this is it. This is the time that I'm going to do it. I probably could have foresaw that I was going to be battling imposter syndrome, but I definitely battled it more than I initially anticipated. And so that was something that I had to choose to actively fight against that imposter. And I had to choose myself and choose this journey, no matter how many negative thoughts I was able to spew my way. Balancing life was a challenge over the last 12 weeks and, choosing my heart in that regard of saying yes and no to different events and to different people so I can prioritize spending time with others or working on this podcast or, just in general, I shifted around my routine. And so therefore my life needed to be shifted around a little bit as well. And so that was a choosing of a hard of, having to disappoint some people at some points in time because I really needed to focus on myself or my family. And a big one, again, I probably could have foresaw if you would have asked me, but I definitely didn't anticipate as much as I experienced, which was kind of editing in real time, in that I was correcting mistakes that I was making kind of week after week when I realized that some things weren't working or I needed to do something a little differently. So this kind of like in real time edit to learn and to grow as a podcaster. And so that was a choosing your hard moment of, I had to choose to put my pride and my ego aside to be like, okay, that did not work. Let me edit and pivot and try something different next time. And so, as a general theme, honestly, for season 1, it has been about choosing our hard. And that's what I love about this episode. And that's why I'm so excited that this is our season finale. Because if in full transparency, you guys, I did not initially plan for this episode 12, Choose Your Hard, to be our season finale. And I'm so glad that it worked out this way, because it does. It so perfectly ties together the whole season, and that every episode we've been discussing choose your hard without directly mentioning it as a choosing your hard moment. And I'm going to explain here further. We're going to revisit all of our previous episodes, and we're going to revisit what it means to choose your hard and how this is something that we've inadvertently been talking about all season. And so I think it's just so beautiful. I was actually talking to my husband a few weeks ago where I was like, I just don't know. It was maybe around episode 7, around week 7, where I was like, I just don't know how do I tie all of these episodes together. They're all great, independent of themselves, but I don't know if I thought about a underlying theme or a thread that ties the season together. And again, I'm brand new at podcasting and brand new at stringing episodes together. And I knew I had plenty of episodes, plenty of material that I wanted to talk about, but I didn't necessarily forethought about, the thread. And so I love that it just naturally and so authentically came to be choose your hard. And so that is our thread, and I'm going to tell you exactly how we've been discussing choose your hard all season long without directly talking about it. So season 1, we chose our hard time and again. So let's revisit that and how each episode from season 1 taught us to choose our hard. Episode 1, the night is darkest just before the dawn, and the hard we chose was to stay. Sometimes the hardest thing you'll ever do is survive your own mind. And we talked about how mental strength is training your mind to be stronger than your emotions. We talked about riding out the dark into the dawn, riding out the winter into the spring. And honestly, when you are down in the dumpies like that, that is the hardest choose your hard you're ever going to have to choose. That is choose your hard in the rawest form. Choosing to stay. Choosing to give tomorrow a chance. Episode 2, happiness is a choice. In this episode, we chose the hard of actively chasing joy. And we discussed that we can't choose happiness, just like we can't choose any other emotion that happens to us. Sadness, anger, whatever. But we can chase joy. We can seek out happiness. You can choose to succumb to misery, or you can choose to chase joy. It is your choice. Sometimes happiness isn't passive, and you have to fight for it. Spending time with yourself, spending time with your family, doing things you love, doing things you know will make you feel good. Choose your hard. Chase joy. Episode 3, pressure creates diamonds. And this episode, the choose our hard, was embracing the hard, embracing the pressure. In this episode, we talked a lot about how pain is inevitable in life, no matter who you are. Just like today, how we're talking about life is hard. Nobody can escape the pressures and the pains of life. Nobody can escape it. And so in this episode, we talked about embracing the pressure. We talked about how who we are under pressure defines our character. How it's easy to be happy-go-lucky, I'm a joy to be around when everything's going your way. But when things are crumbling around you, how do you react? How do you show up? How you choose to show up matters. Nobody likes the person that's like, I'm having a bad day and therefore everybody around me will have a bad day too. Don't be that person. Episode 4, The View from 28. The choose your heart for this episode was to honor your timeline, to romanticize your life, to acknowledge that aging is a privilege. And that no, not every milestone that you hit is going to be, sunshines and rainbows and butterflies. Sometimes you're going to be crawling through your milestone, but it's a milestone nonetheless. And you should be proud of it. And in episode 4, we're reminded that the journey is the point. The ebbs, the flows, the ups, the downs. It's all the point. And we can either choose to honor and respect and romanticize this one beautiful life that we are given, or we can choose to not. It is our choice. All right, episode 5, Warm-Blooded. In this episode, the hard we chose was to find validation from within. In this episode, we learned to stop letting others define our self-worth. We can either choose to be validated by others at the expense of ourselves, or we can choose to validate ourselves at the expense of people who aren't meant for us. One journey gives us this internal sense of self-worth that is unshakable. The other one leaves our self-worth up to the opinions of others. Stop letting people define you. In episode 5, we also talk about Shallon Lester. She is a beautiful resource for you guys, so I'm going to shout her out again. She is the one that taught me Warm-Blooded. Again, I don't know if she coined it or anything. I think she did, but I don't know. I could be wrong about that. But regardless, she's who I heard it from. Y'all go check out Shallon Lester. She's a great resource for, building that mental strength and building that emotional resilience. So yeah, in episode 5, we are reminded that the real challenge is believing in ourselves, even when nobody else does. When nobody else does. The real challenge is being your own best friend. And it's awesome once you get there. It's freaking awesome. I love it. Episode 6, Imposter Syndrome. In this episode, the hard we chose was to do it scared. You can either choose to do it scared, or you can choose to not do it at all. One is going to leave you fulfilled. One is going to leave you with regret. Courage and confidence are not mutually exclusive. You do not have to have confidence to have courage. Do it scared. And also tell that bitch that she's a liar and that you can do anything. You can do anything. Episode 7, PCOS awareness. In this episode, the hard we chose was to show up for your people. To show up for your people, even if it's inconvenient for you. I saw a TikTok the other day that was like, let's normalize inconveniencing ourselves for other people. Let's inconvenience ourselves to show up for the people that we care about. You don't feel like going out, but it's your friend's birthday. You go anyways. So in episode 6, we're reminded to support our people, support our tribe, even when it's inconvenient, even when we're tired, even when we don't want to. They say it takes a village. Well, if you want a village, then you need to be a village. Show up for people how you would want them to show up for you. Even if you don't get it back. I do find that sometimes I get frustrated because I feel like I show up for people in a way that like they are either unable or unwilling to show up for me. But like that doesn't stop me from showing up for them anyways, because that's the kind of person that I want to be. I want to be the person that shows up for my village, that shows up for my tribe. And you know what? When I need somebody to show up for me, there's always somebody there. There is always somebody there. So I'm going to show up for them. Be the village. Episode 8, pick out your clothes. In this episode, the hard we chose was to practice self-discipline. Even on the micro scale, even something as small as picking out your outfit or making your bed. These small little choices, these small deliberate acts of self-love compound over time. In this episode, we talked about Will Smith and his take on self-discipline, and that self-discipline is self-love. And to love yourself means that you are disciplining your behavior in a way that will reward you later on. To love yourself is disciplining your behavior. To love yourself is to say, I understand the big picture. And I am going to forego immediate pleasure in exchange for long-term self-respect. That is what Will Smith teaches us in episode 8. And that self-love isn't always bubble baths and a color walk. That sometimes self-love is boundaries. Self-love is accountability. Self-love is following through. Self-love is commitment. Self-discipline is self-love. Self-love is self-discipline. Episode 9, Energy Vampires. In this episode, the hard that we learned was to walk away. Sometimes we have to walk away when we're not ready for the sake of our own peace. Sometimes we have to walk away from people we love deeply for the sake of our own peace. And at the end of the day, the only person you are with for your entire life is you. And you deserve to be at peace with that person. And nobody else. If anybody else is costing you your peace, fuck them. This is your life. And you deserve to be at peace with yourself and your own life. And if somebody is disrupting that, it's time to choose our hard and walk away. We can either choose to stay at the expense of our own mental health, at the expense of our happiness. We can choose to stay, or we can choose to walk away at the expense of a relationship with that person. The choice is ours. You are the love of your life. Protect your peace. Walk away. Episode 10, growth is slow. In this episode, the hard we chose was to be patient, but put in the work. But put in the work. We learned in this episode that the time passes anyways. So we might as well be working on getting 1% better every single day. In knowing that, well, like the day is going to go by anyways. And won't it be cool if a year from now I'm in a totally different spot than I am right now? Wouldn't that be cool? But it's not going to happen unless I put in the work. And we come from this generation of, I mentioned this in the episode, that we come from a generation of such instant gratification, such instant reward, and true lifelong meaningful growth is not like that. It is not like that. It is slow. It is one step at a time. Sometimes it's 3 steps forward and then 2 steps backwards and then another step forward and then 1 more step backwards and then 2 more steps forward. Like, that's just, growth is slow and you have to be patient. But you have to be putting in the work. You can either choose to do the hard work now, or you can choose to regret it later. The world keeps spinning either way. And finally, episode 11, these 11 things. In this episode, the hard we chose was to reflect and apply. Reflect and apply. And the reason this is hard to reflect and apply is because it takes putting our pride aside. It takes putting our ego over in the corner for a minute so we can evaluate where we went wrong. But in episode 11, I hope I encouraged you to use your lessons as tools, not weights. Your lessons should not weigh you down or hold you back. Your lessons should be stepping stones to get you to the next spot. We have a saying in my house that goes, we never lose. We win or we learn. Life is going to continue to hand us hard things throughout our lifetime. That is just the reality. That's why learning emotional resilience and learning mental strength is so important, is because it never gets any easier. I remember being a teenager and thinking, when I'm 18 and I'm at college, all of this will go away and my life will be so easy. And then I was 19 and 20 and I was in college and all of my teenage issues were gone. But I had a whole different slew of things that I was dealing with as a college kid. And then I remember thinking okay, well, when I'm out of college and I'm independent and I'm on my own, then everything will be perfect. All of my problems will go away. And then I graduated college and I got a full-time job. And it's now I've got my own adult problems that I deal with on a regular basis. And it's things are never going to be perfect. Your problems are never going to go away. You move from one chapter into the next and the next, and every chapter has its own challenges, and that's what makes the book interesting. Right? Who wants to read a book that's Sally got an A on her math test and then went to bed by 9 p.m. every day for 70 years? It's not a book I want to read. I want to read she's naked. No, I'm just kidding. No, but really, that's... No, but for real, in episode 11, we learned that life is just going to keep handing you things. And you're going to take it, you're going to tackle it on, and then you're going to use that as testimony. You're going to use that lesson to carry you forward and to carry others forward. You never lose. You win or you learn. So 11 episodes of choosing our hard. 11 episodes. And now, as we step away from Someone Should Know for a few weeks to recoup and to recharge, I'm going to leave you with a few actionable takeaways. You know I wasn't going to leave you without some homework to keep you busy over the next few weeks. And you don't have to do any of these. Do them all, do none, do some. But here are a few actionable takeaways for you to work on. Number 1, audit your hards. Take a look at your life and evaluate, what are my hards right now? What are my challenges? And start asking yourself, how can I choose my hard in this category? Let's say one of the categories is finances. You're struggling financially. Choose your hard. You can either continue to be in financial distress and just fuck it, or you can choose to find resources that will help you. Spend a few weeks researching people and accounts and books and podcasts that are going to help you. Then once you've done that, you can work towards the next step of creating a budget and sticking to that. You can either choose not to budget or you can choose to budget and get your life together. The choice is yours. But I want you to ask yourself, which hard serves me long term? Which hard allows me to get 1% better today? Number 2, practice extreme ownership. I encourage you guys to look up Jocko Willink. He's the author of Extreme Ownership. But either way, just practice taking ownership of your life. Practice taking responsibility for everything, taking accountability for everything. And in doing so, it gives you power. It gives you autonomy over your life. Take ownership. Remember, we don't lose. We win or we learn. Number 3, choose proactive discomfort. Self-discipline is self-love. As Will Smith said, foregoing immediate pleasure in exchange for long-term self-respect. Intentionally create that proactive discomfort that's going to help you grow, that's going to give you discipline, that's going to give you grit and resilience. Self-discipline equals self-love. And number 4, gratitude for the grind. Romanticize your life. Romanticize opening up the house in the morning, setting the vibe, opening all of the windows and curtains and getting ready for your workout and taking your pre-workout. Romanticize that. Romanticize the seemingly mundane. How your spouse comes in from work in the evening. How you have dinner together. The weeknight rituals and traditions that you uphold in your home. Life is so beautiful. And you get one life. And the small little daily moments like that is your life. You go on a vacation, a couple times a year? It's your birthday one day a year. It's your anniversary one day a year. It's all of these little moments that are your life. Have gratitude for it. Remember that the hard moments make the good ones mean something. You wouldn't appreciate how beautiful all the small moments are if you didn't go through the shit. So don't just endure life. Don't just get through the day. Appreciate it. Romanticize it. Have gratitude for it. The little moments are your life. Don't let them pass you by. All right, you guys, as we come to a closing on our season finale here, I want to reflect on season 1, on how it started and what it taught me and what's next. Season 1 started from just my desire to help people. And of course, I wanted to start a show. I wanted to do something that filled my cup, that was a creative outlet, something that I enjoyed doing, a hobby of mine. But I wanted it to mean something, and I wanted it to make a difference. And so that's how Someone Should Know was born. Season 1 has taught me that podcasting is legit, and it is awesome. Podcasting is legit, and it is so awesome. And for those of you who've been listening for the whole season, you might remember that I attended a podcasting conference early in season 1. Like, I think I had 1 or 2 episodes out at the time of me attending that conference. And that was really incredible. And I met some really beautiful people there. So if any of you guys are listening from Podcast Movement 2025, hi! Yay! Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here. But that was incredible. It was awesome to meet some really beautiful people in the podcasting space and to really like feel like I'm taking up space in this community and coming into my own as a podcaster. And season 1 has taught me that number 1, I love it. I love podcasting. It's challenging in the most beautiful and exciting way. And there's always something new to explore or something to pivot and edit on. And so that's really exciting and it keeps me on my toes. I have learned that I have a lot of growing to do. And I knew that, of course. I knew coming into season 1 that I'm a rookie here and I'm a beginner and I'm trying it out. But I have so many ideas and I have so much growth that I want to, make on this podcast and on this journey. And I'm reminded that I am a one-woman show and I'm doing my best with the time that I have. But I do have a lot of plans for this podcast and in where I want it to go. So what's next is season 2, baby. Season 2 is going to be premiering 2026. I don't have an exact premiere date for you guys yet, so you'll just have to follow along on social media to find out the 2026 season 2 premiere date. All right, you guys, thank you again for tuning in to the first season of Someone Should Know. I appreciate you more than you know. Remember that life will always be hard. There will always be a hard that you are currently choosing. And you get to decide which hard is worth it. You get to decide which hard brings you pride at the end of each day. So right now, the hard that I'm choosing is believing that I'm capable of more. And y'all are gonna get it because we are just getting started. And I can't wait to see you guys back here in 2026 for season 2. Thank you again for tuning in, everybody. I hope you have happy holidays and a safe and happy new year. I'll see you soon. Bye, y'all. Season 1! Done! Oh my gosh. I can't believe it.